Hi, I'm Emily and this is Brooks Family Farm. I have a couple of our fresh bouquets with me today that I'm going to be unwrapping and putting in vases. So I just kind of wanted to show you that process, what it'll look like when you take flowers home yourself. So the first bouquet I have with me, we've been calling this just our standard bouquet. It's the size we typically make when we go to farmer's market, and it's the size that a lot of our custom order customers request. This one happens to be just straight snapdragons, which is one of my favorites. We made so many of these this week. It's 4 days old already and it looks great. We'll see what it looks like once we get the paper out of it. Most of the time with this size, when I display them at farmers markets, they're in a quart jar, and they're a good size bouquet typically for a quart jar. I have this little vase that I like to put a lot of things in that we'll probably put it in today, just for my house, but I'll show you the quart jar also. So anyway, first things first, pay attention to the sticker. It has your flower care instructions, and if you're not getting your flowers from me, these instructions are still good to know. Change water every day, trim the stems every 2 to 3 days, keep out of heat and direct sunlight. I typically put my flowers on my dining room table. There's a little bit of indirect sunlight from the windows. Doesn't seem to make too much of a difference. So I'm gonna pop that off. Okay, and so this is what I expect from snapdragons, especially having been in the wrap for 4 days. We've got a little bit of squish around the sides. Snapdragons are very unique and then they're this big tall flower. So if some of my lower ones are squished, like this one's squished, I can just pop that off, and I still have a bunch left on higher up the stem. With a fresh bouquet, there won't be as much of that, but like I said, I left this poor guy wrapped up for a while. But overall, for as old as it is, I think it looks pretty good. So I tie all my bouquets with a twine. That's new. If you got flowers from me earlier in the season, I didn't do this, but as I use them myself, I like that better. So most of the time, I can just take that and pop it in the vase. I think my vase is a little too tall. So, and it's been a few days, so I need to trim the stems anyway. So I'm gonna move this tie up a little bit. I have some flower snips. You can use scissors. I use scissors all the time. But I'm gonna snip off, since it's been a while and my vase is a little shorter, a few inches off of here. The smart thing to do would be to do this over a trash can. So then we'll see what that looks like. That looks better to me, but I'm gonna go a step further. Now with the snapdragon bouquet, I can pretty well do this. With the mixed bouquets, there's a bunch of different flowers, and when I put them in the wrap like that, I tend to have most of the flowers all in the same level so you can look at it and see what you're getting, but that doesn't always look great in the vase. So with this tie, it's really easy to come take some of these edge flowers, like this pretty orange one, and I'm gonna scoot it down so it's closer to the rim of the vase. This one's got kind of a nice like hang anyway, so I want that lower down closer to the rim of the vase. And you can just kind of play with height. Okay, and then I've got some, snip off those. And I think she's done. Pretty simple. Yeah. This got a lot wonky. There. I like droopy though, so I'm good with this. Okay. And that will sit on my table. Now the quart jar, see, it's a good size for a quart jar, I think, too. And that's just a simple thing that everybody has at home. So I try to make a good size for that. First and foremost, before we ever started this video, I washed my vases. You always want to wash your vases. You just wash them after you use them and put them in the cabinet. As these flowers sit in water, so they start to break down and some bacteria develops, makes them break down faster. So you want everything to be clean. I always wash my snips, my buckets, my everything when I'm dealing with flowers. When you get them home, just wash your vase and make sure you're dumping out the water and putting clean water in every day. And they'll last longer. They won't wilt quite as quick for you. So that's the standard bouquet. I have another one with me that I'm very excited about. So I also made this week a premium bouquet, which is just twice the size of the standard. So it's also displayed in a quart jar, but I hope you can tell how big that is. This one's also, how old is this one? 3 days old, I think. It's more of a mix. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna check for my care instructions. I'm gonna open it up. And then I've got some big, lovely flowers I kind of want to highlight, specifically this yellow, which is an Indian summer rudbeckia. I want to bring that a little more front and center. So I'm going to take him, and I knew I would. I had my eye on him. I'm going to push down gently until I find, if you can find the stem at the bottom, pulling is a lot more gentle on these flowers. I'm going to pull him and then bring some flowers around to frame him. See, I think that looks so pretty to vase. Queen Lime Red, one of my favorites. Yeah, I don't know. I think it looks pretty good the way it is. So I'm going to cut these long stems. I've moved around to make everything sit right. Washed vase, clean water. This is where I usually make adjustments because this is where I usually don't like it so much. They need to breathe just a little bit after being in the wrap. At least that's what it seems like to me. I don't think that's physiologically true. I forgot that this was the one with the orange gladiolas. And it's only just starting to open. That's gonna be so good. Okay, so I'm gonna take this out because I can see some of these I want to move down. I don't have quite the room. That one, this big pink zinnia is looking a little old already, but I want to keep it for another day or so. This white one is facing away from me, and I really want to see if I can turn it. Sometimes you can. You just have to kind of fiddle with it. Yeah, that's better. Ooh, too far in. There we go. I like it. So you can also, of course, untie them and completely rearrange the flowers however you think looks best. Just untie it and do your thing. I believe in you. You can't hardly go wrong when you're arranging flowers. The main thing is start with a clean vase, clean fresh water every day. If it's been 2 or 3 days, clip the stems of your flowers. These are fresh, locally grown flowers, so they're going to be drinking water quite a bit. So you want to stay on top of your water, and they will last you a much longer time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you on the next one. So I wanted to pop back in and say we are a very new, very small YouTube channel. So we still do a little happy dance every time someone subscribes to our channel, and several of you have been doing that. So thank you so much. We would love to hear from you. Comment on this video if you don't mind. Comment your favorite flower. I'm so curious to hear. Mine changes, of course, all the time. Right now it's a snapdragon, and I'm loving them. These gladiolas, though, they're coming up high on the list. Let me know what your favorite is. I'd love to hear. Thank you so much.